Welcome to Yoga Root Online. And in this practice, we're going to focus our attention on the spine. And we're going to look at the different curves of the spine and how it works as a spring to help us as we kind of move through our day, walking, running, any sort of movement. We're going to look at the 5 different movements of the spine. So being flexion, extension, lateral, twisting, and then this axial extension is what we use this quite a lot in yoga, is this idea of lengthening through the spine. So there's a little bit of space between the vertebrae before we twist. Okay, so, and of course, I'll keep reminding you to bring your focus to the spine and really to kind of, as you move through your practice, really bring your full attention to what the spine is doing. And maybe even if you can kind of easily find your spine within your practice, notice what radiates from that. So when the spine is in a nice position, notice that your shoulders are in a nice position, your head is stacked, your pelvis is stacked over your feet, and the kind of midline, it's the reason why it's called the midline. It's that everything stems from it, and when it's kind of up in its optimal lovely curves, the rest of the body is a little bit more able to sort itself out in optimal alignment. Okay, so we're going to start in the seated position. I just want to kind of go through those as our warm-up, or part of our warm-up, and then we'll move into cat-cow. I want to go through those 5 different movements of the spine. So I am sitting on a brick here. I'm popping it underneath my hips there. You can come to a cross-legged position if this is too much on your knees, or you can pop 2 bricks under your hips there, just anything. We won't be here for very long, but just anything to get yourself into an upright position. So if the knees allow it, this is easier to keep the spine upright. If your legs are crossed, the pelvis starts to tilt back a little bit. So, but again, if your knees don't take it well, then come to cross-legged. Okay, we'll start with lateral extension. So inhale, lift the arms up high. And then exhale, I'll mirror you. You're going to hinge over to your right-hand side. Okay, so press your left hip down a little bit into the support of your brick as you reach your left fingertips up overhead. And maybe just take the shoulder out of it. So maybe even have an intention of reaching the fingertips kind of even straight up, or just a little bit, like 15 degrees over to the right-hand side. Not necessarily reaching overhead and bringing too much tension into the shoulder, because we're focusing on the spine today. Okay, we'll inhale, bring both arms up again, and exhale, hinging gently over to the left-hand side. So now you want to really anchor that right hip down here, and remembering, the reach of the arm can just be straight overhead, or just kind of a small degree over to the left-hand side until you feel a lovely stretch through the ribs. You will feel, and you won't necessarily feel the stretch through the vertebrae there, but there certainly is a stretch to the muscles on the right side of the spine there. And then we're going to inhale, arms up through center again. And exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back. Reach your arms back down towards the ground behind you. We'll bring our spine into extension here. Gaze comes up a little bit of a chin tuck there to make sure that your neck is supported. So this is our back bend, our spinal extension. Inhale, reach the arms up high again, and then exhale, interlace the hands away from you again, reach them towards me, I suppose, and then let the spine curl forward. This is the spine in flexion. So bending the whole spine into a C shape forward. And then you'll notice that maybe let's just keep the spine exactly where it is. Reach one hand behind you. You'll feel the spine there at your lower back. You'll feel that you have flattened out your lower spine, and then the upper spine is curved forward, and that's more curved forward now. And then bring both hands onto your back there, lower back and mid back. And then inhale back up to center again, and notice that you find your lower curve of your spine again there, and the upper spine stays curled forward, and less so than we were in our flexion. Okay, and then we continue moving on. We'll do our axial extension next. So inhale, lengthen the arms up towards the ceiling. Now see, can you reach the tip of your crown? You might not even particularly feel it, but just this idea of lengthening the tip of the crown up towards the ceiling there. finding space between the vertebrae. And then exhale, twisting to your right hand side. So bringing your right hand behind your back, behind your hip there, and bringing your left fingertips onto the top of your right thigh. Just a little bit of a press into that thigh to help you to twist, but come into a gentle twist here, only warming up. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. Find that little bit of axial extension, lengthen the tip of the crown up towards the ceiling, and exhale, twisting to the opposite side. Left hand behind your hip, right hand onto the outside of your left thigh. As a little bit of a push into that thigh to help you twist a little bit, but again, keeping it nice and gentle. Okay, so that's our, let's take an inhale just to neutralize up through center again. And then exhale, hands down onto our thighs. Pop that brick out from underneath you if you were sitting on one, and just coming up to all fours now. Okay, we'll do our few rounds of cat-cow here, always a lovely way to warm up. And for these, I want you to kind of, and I'll travel through the spine with you, I want you to kind of bring your attention to the three main sections of the spine, this being the cervical spine, which is the lovely curve of our neck, and that curves down. The thoracic spine is your upper back, which curves up away from the floor. And then the lumbar spine, which is curving down towards the spine again. So we'll go through a few rounds just to warm up, and then I will guide you through cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. And you're going to bring your attention to those 3 points and just to notice what's happening in your cat and your cow as you move through. Okay, inhale, just warming up now, and just, a full spinal awareness. Inhale, belly softens down towards the ground. Gaze comes slightly forward, and exhale, lift your spine up towards the ceiling, cinch the waist in. And then inhale again, belly softens towards the ground, a little bit of a lift to the pelvic floor there. Shoulders draw back towards the hips, and then exhale, lift your spine up towards the ceiling. Okay, last round with full spinal awareness. Inhale, belly softens down towards the ground. And then exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. So for our next round, I want you to kind of just observe the cervical spine, so the neck. So what's happening with the neck here? So the gaze comes down. We'll do a full round. So inhale, belly softens down towards the ground. The gaze comes forward. So here's a little bit of extension through the neck here. And then exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. And see the neck is flexing forward here as we gaze at the ground between our hands and our knees. And then inhale, so mid-spine here, thoracic, so the upper shoulder or the upper back there, thoracic spine. It's always going to be curled slightly forward, but less so here, maybe a little bit more of an opening as we open the chest. And then exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, and it curves even more. So feel that upper spine there, really curling. Last section, inhale, belly softens down towards the ground, and really feel that lovely, this is the one we kind of notice the most through our practice, our lovely lumbar spine, our lower back there, comes into a lovely deep C curve there. And then exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, maybe even bringing your hand onto your back there, and notice, again, it's not really going to change direction, but it's more that it's going to flatten out a little bit. Okay, and then just walk your hands forward and let your forehead come down either towards the ground or on the ground, or if it doesn't comfortably reach the ground, you can nestle it onto one of your forearms there, or not your forearms, your upper arms there. Press into your hands, and then just walk your hands off your mat to the right hand side. Feel that lovely stretch through the left side of the body, maybe even reach that left hip away from you now to feel a little bit more space between the vertebrae on the left side. Press into your hands and walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. Come down a little bit. Again, the forehead can tip onto or can rest onto your left upper arm there if that feels good, or come down to the ground. Feel little bits of space between the right vertebrae there. And then press into your hands, come back up to center now. And let's take just a one inhale and an exhale in all fours there. And we're going to come up to standing. So we're going to start our flows through standing. So come up onto the fingertips, step the right leg forward, tuck the left toes under, lift left knee, step left leg forward and folding down. Inhale, press into your feet and reach the arms up high. Exhale, comes down the midline in prayer position. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of side bending at the start of each flow. So coming up to the top of your mat there, inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, I'm not going to mirror you this time now. I'm going to tread my right foot to the side of my left leg there and reach my right arm overhead. So my right arm is reaching. My right foot is to the outside of my left foot there. And then inhale, reach the arms up high again. And exhale, second side. So my left foot now is threading to the side, the outside of my right foot. My right arm is coming down and my left arm is reaching overhead. Lovely side bend there, okay? Then inhale, reach both arms up or unthread the legs. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, step that left leg back. Bring the left knee down onto the ground now. Okay, make sure that you're nice and wide on your mat so that the right knee is tracking with the right hip there and the left knee is tracking with the left foot. Nice, firm foundation. You can untuck those left toes. We're not going to come up to standing here. We're going to take a few poses from this kneeling position. Okay, so nice neutral spine here in that we have the curves going in at the lower back, coming out and then going in again here. We're going to inhale, reach those arms up high. And exhale, coming into a little back bend there with our cactus arms. And we'll do that a few times. Inhale, reaching the arms up high. And exhaling into our cactus, opening the front body and feeling the strength of the back body. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And then exhale the arms into cactus position. Feel those shoulder blades drawing together. All the muscles on the upper back particularly holding up the body. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And this time we're going to take a twist. So you're going to reach your right arm to the back of the mat there. And you're going to place the left hand to the outside of the right leg there, just to help you, a little bit of an aided twist. So use your leg as your prop to take a slightly deeper twist. So we've warmed up our twist. So maybe this one be a little bit more juicy. Really reach the fingertips towards the back of the mat, remembering to lengthen through the whole spine here. So we don't want any sort of a curve forward through the spine. We want to give it optimal space to twist. Otherwise, those little vertebrae will hit each other if we're reaching or if we're curling our spine forward. And then inhale, reach both arms up high again. And we're just going to swap over to the other side. So hands either side of that front foot, step that front foot back, and then step the left leg forward. Okay, coming up to kneeling positions, your low lunge here, making sure again nicely tracked, nice spine. Feel your lower, your upper spine, your cervical spine, everything stacked nicely. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And then exhale, cactus arms coming into our little back bend. So feel the lovely extension through the spine there. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale into our back bend. Inhale, reaching. Last round. And exhale into our back bend, feeling the lovely opening through the front of the chest as the back body works really hard to hold you up against gravity. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. Exhale, twisting now to your left-hand side, placing that right hand to the outside of the left knee. Reach those left fingertips to the back of your mat there. Again, remembering we don't want to take our twist from any sort of a forward or indeed a backwards position. Spine up nice and tall, axial extension to find the twist. Breathing here and notice the breath in our twists. A little bit harder, that's where all the benefits are. And then inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands either side of that front foot. Come up onto the toes, the balls of that right foot. Lift that right knee, and we're just going to step that right leg forward and fold it down. Inhale, coming up halfway. So let's find our spine here. We want to come into extension. So I'm going to keep a little bend in my knees. You can straighten them if your hamstrings will allow you. Let's pause here for a few breaths. This is one of my favorite poses for finding really good strength in the whole back of the spine there. Press your hands strongly into your knees here and draw your shoulders like the way we do sometimes in our cat-cow. Draw your shoulders back towards the back of your hips there. Let the front of your chest there, the center of your heart, shine forward up towards the front of your mat. Really feel your whole spine working here. And if you're not feeling your spine working, press more into your hands. And it's like they're glued into your knees and they can't lift, but your spine is trying to move away from them. And then exhale, gently folding it down now. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, we'll go through our second flow. We're going to take our little side stretches first. I'm going to stay at the top of the mat so as not to be confusing the mirroring. So inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, place left hand on left thigh. Place the right foot to the outside of the left foot and reach the right fingertips overhead. Inhale, reach up high again. And exhale, coming to the second side. So left foot hooks around right foot, left fingertips reaching over. Feel that lovely stretch through the whole spine and maybe a little bit at the front of the hip there too. Inhale, reach both arms up high again. And exhale, we're going to step that left foot back again. We're going to stay up tall this time. Okay, so making sure, particularly now because we've come up to a standing position, you want those legs at least hip distance apart. If not wider, just, it just depends on how your balance is today. I'm going to keep a little bend in that right knee. It can make it a little bit harder working for that, but it certainly helps me to keep my pelvis up tall here. If I press out through that heel, you'll notice that my hip flexor isn't warmed up properly and it's pulling my pelvis forward, which is causing too much of a lower curve in my spine there, which I don't want particularly today because we're working with the spine and I want to start with a neutral position. Hopefully that all makes sense. So inhale, reach the arms up high again. And then exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, let's open our chest again. So it's like you're feeding your hands down between your legs there towards the mat. Lovely chest opening. And then exhale back. Uninterlace your hands. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And exhale, hands behind your back. Inhale, reach the hands away. And this time we're going to come forward. So exhale, reaching just to the inside of that right leg there, or that's kind of where the spine is coming. It's not going to actually come down that far. So we're still opening through the front of the body as we tilt forward here. Inhale here, and then exhale, interlace your hands in front of you and let the spine curl forward. So coming into our flexion here for the spine. So the hands are just reaching towards the ground. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hands either side of that front foot. And we're just going to swap legs. So bring that left knee down. Step that right leg back. Step the left leg forward. Come up onto the balls of the right foot and lift the right knee up. Make sure that the feet are nice and wide, left to right on your mat there. And then we'll come up to our standing position again. Again, I'm going to keep a little bend in that right knee because I don't want to push through the back of the spine there. It just gives me space. It gives space for that front hip flexor to allow me to open those front of the hips there. Okay, we'll do our same flow on the second side. So inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, interlace the hands behind our back. Inhale, opening the chest, feeling the strength in the back there, the thoracic spine in particular. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, we're going to interlace the hands behind our back again now. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, we're going to hinge forward from the hips and we're going to bring ourselves down towards the inside of that right leg. We're not really going to come to it, but that's the direction. We're going to reach the arms up. We're going to keep the chest open here. So we're kind of in possibly not a back bend, but certainly a neutral spine here as a comparison to them when we come forward. Okay, and then inhale here. Exhale, we're going to interlace our hands towards the ground now and come into our flexion. So let the spine curl forward here. Press some weight into that back foot there, whether the knee is bent or straight. And then inhale, reach the arms up high again. And exhale, we're just going to step that left leg forward, folding down. Inhale, coming up halfway, taking a few breaths here, finding the strength of our back again. So press our hands into our knees, reach those shoulders back towards the back of our hips there, sternum, heart center up towards me, gaze just a little bit forward of your mat, so don't have your neck too extended there, and really find the strength of your whole back there. And hopefully the more you press into your hands, the more you reach those back of the shoulders. So this point here is trying to move away from me towards the back of my hips. And then exhale, gently folding down. So if you've taken a strong one there, you really have to be gentle with your folding down after it. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, we're going to go straight into our next flow. So inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, we're going to bring that right leg to the outside of the left leg, hinging over to the left. Really feel the front of that right belly there opening up, front of the right ribs and the side, obviously. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hinging over to the right hand side. And maybe the gaze comes down towards the ground and a little bit over to the left. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And this time we're going to step that left leg back and bring our way into our reverse warrior. Okay, so we're just going to sneak our way into reverse warrior here. So here we are, we're in a lateral bend here. And then we're going to bring it into a lateral bend the other way. So looking for the way the spine is in poses that we're so familiar with. So hinge forward now over that right leg, reach the left arm up and over. So we're lateral bending, side bending here to the right side, a little left so because we're actually pressing through that left heel and reaching through the tip of the crown. So we're less looking for the bend, but there certainly is a stretch going on in the upper left side of the body there. Okay, and then we're going to flow through them a little bit again. So we're going to inhale, reach the right arm up and over. And then exhale, bring the left arm up and over. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach the right arm up and over. Legs stay exactly where they are. And exhale, bring the left arm up and over. Inhale, right arm. Exhale, left arm. Okay, and then coming back up, find your warrior. So the arms reaching out, find your neutral spine here. And then interlace the hands behind your back and we'll come into our back bend again. So inhale here, or no, actually we'll exhale here. And then we're going to inhale, open the chest and feed the hands now again down between. So it's like it's an extension of our tailbone there down towards the ground. Open the chest. Now engage the core, make sure that 360 wrap is working to really support the spine. Another one of the jobs of the core is to support the spine. Inhale up to center and then exhale. You're going to keep your hips to the side of the mat there. And we're just going to hinge over to the inside of that left leg there, or sorry, right leg there. Reach the arms up high. Humble warrior. And inhale to come back up again. Pivot that left foot to the front of your mat there. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, bring the hands down onto that right knee, and we're just going to step that left leg forward. Okay, inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. And we'll move it over to the other side. So I'll take it from the back of the mat. You stay where you are. We'll take our side stretches first. So inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, bring the right leg to the outside of the left leg, hinging over to the left hand side. Last time. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, hinging over to the left hand side or the right hand side. Inhale, reach, and exhale. Now we're going to step that right leg back and immediately wake our way into reverse warrior. So the left arm is reaching overhead, the left arm or the left leg is forward. And then we're going to come into Parasacchanas. So you're going to bring your left elbow down to your left knee and reach the right arm up. Palm faces towards the back of the mat or the front of the mat in your case. And then the arm reaches overhead. So again, a little less of a lateral bend, a side bend, because we're trying to make sure that we're pressing into that right foot and reaching through the tip of the crown. So we're looking for a line of energy through that right foot, all the way out through the tip of the crown, and particularly the fingertips of the right hand as well. Okay, we're going to move through those two poses nice and gently. So inhale into our reverse, left arm reaches over, legs stay exactly where they are, keep them nice and firm, and then exhale, windmill the arms and reach the left arm or the right arm overhead. Okay, so those two poses. See, can you keep the arms nice and long as you move with intention? Okay, inhale, reach the left arm over, and exhale, right arm reaches over. And we'll do one more. Inhale, reaches left arm over, and exhale, reaches the right arm over. Okay, we're going to inhale up and find our warrior here, and take an exhale here. Press into your feet, firm those legs again. Even though we're working with the spine, we still need to find the nice strong legs. Find your neutral spine here. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale, interlace our hands behind our back. Inhale to lengthen again, and exhale into our back bend here. Breathing, so taking a few breaths here, opening the chest towards the ceiling, really feeling the strength of particularly the upper back body. Lift the pelvic floor, feel the 360 wrap of the core here supporting you. Inhale to reach the arms up high again. And then exhale, we're going to bring the hands behind the back again. Sorry, I should have kept the hands behind the back. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, we're going to hinge forward, keeping the hips open to the side of the mat. We're hinging forward just to the inside of that left leg there. Keeping the chest nice and open here. And breathing into our lovely humble warrior. Press into both feet here. See, can you press a little bit more weight into that right foot? And inhale to come up. You're going to pivot the right foot to the front of the mat. And inhale, reach the arms up high again. Exhale, place both hands on your left knee, step that right leg forward, and exhale, folding down, nice and gently. Let's do our last strengthening of the spine here. Press your hands into the tops of the knees here, reach the chest forward, and the shoulders back towards the hips. Really feeling like you're trying to reach the top of your sternum there, forward and up towards your chin. So really find the strength of your whole back here now. And then gently, gently, gently exhale, folding, folding down. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, we're going to do one more pose just to find one more twist, because we only knitted one twist into that sequence where we did loads of lateral bends forward and back. So we'll take Utkatasana chair pose with a twist. I'm going to give you two versions of this. First version will be where we bring the hands down. Now step your feet together so that you're not pushing into your knee. And you can bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, like this. Or if that's too much of a twist for you, you'd literally just bring your left hand to the outside of that right leg and reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, okay? And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So just deciding which version you'd like to take. Maybe try the one with the hands in prayer position if that feels too much of a twist, or you're really finding that your whole chest is curling too much, because remembering we want to keep our spine nice and long through our twists. Then change to this version. In fact, I'm going to take the version with the arms reaching, just so that I can maintain my nice strong spine. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, bend the knees and coming into our chair pose. Inhale one more time to lengthen, and then exhale, I'm going to place the left hand to the outside of my right knee and just reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. I'm lengthening through the whole spine here, and I'm trying to maintain particularly that lumbar curve, that lower spinal curve there. breathing and feeling your lovely twist, using the outside of that right leg to help you deepen your twist a little bit. Okay, press strongly into your feet now, gently come up to center, inhale, lengthen all the way. And then exhale back into our chair again, bending the knees. Doesn't have to be your deepest chair. And then inhale to lengthen again, and exhale, twisting to my left now. I'm going to place my right hand to the outside of my left knee there and reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. I'm really being careful about lengthening through the whole spine here as it comes into its twist. So I'm giving it as much space as possible through the vertebrae so that I can twist efficiently. One more breath here. Press into your feet strongly. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, that's our standing flow done. So let's just come down onto our mat. We will take it through Malasana. So feet hip distance or wider apart, feet out 45-degree angle. Let's just come down with the knees inside our elbows, our elbows inside our knees even. Press our hands together. If this is not a pose for you, just come down to the ground. And try find length through your spine here in your Malasana. Okay, again, another pose that we're inclined to curl the back. See, can you really find that lower curve, particularly of your spine? And then coming all the way down to the ground. Okay, let's take one or two star shapes and little stretches to the side, banana shapes before we take our first few restorative poses. So reach the legs out. Reach the arms overhead here. And let's just walk on both our feet, keep the hips where they are, but walk both your feet off the right side of your mat. And then just shimmy your upper body and your arms off the right side of your mat. Hips stay exactly where they are so that your whole body makes a banana shape. Feel a nice stretch through the left side of the body here. Space between the ribs, a little bit more breath on the left side. And feeling the opening through the left side of the vertebrae, or sensing it rather than particularly feeling it. And coming back to center, just walking the legs first, and then walking the upper body, and then walking the legs off the left side of the mat there, and shimmying the whole upper body off the left side, taking it into a banana shape to the left here. Feel the space between the vertebrae. The space between the ribs, lovely stretch to the armpit, the whole shoulder capsule there. And then coming back to center, let's take a star shape. So just walk the legs out wide, walk the arms out wide, lengthen or stretch or reach through the left toes and the right fingertips. Let's nice diagonal stretch. These diagonal stretches can be a lovely way to realign the spine. And then lengthen through the right toes and the left fingertips. And then lengthen through all of your limbs, left toes, left fingertips, right fingertips. Now just let it all kind of come back to center, kind of like a starfish kind of comes back to center, back to the midline, back to the core, and then bend the knees and really gently draw your knees towards your chest. And maybe just placing your hands on your knees there and making circles on the ceiling with your knees there. So nice little massage to your lower back there. And then circling the other direction. Okay, so placing the feet down on the ground and gently using your forearms to lift yourself up. And grabbing one of your blankets there. Okay, so we're going to start off. What we're going to do is the three supports of the blanket underneath the three sections of mainly the back, not necessarily the spine, because we're not going to bring it into the cervical spine. Okay, so you've got a four-fold blanket there. So basically that's a blanket folded in four, approximately that shape. Everyone's blankets are different. And then just roll it up. reasonably loosely. We don't need or want a huge amount of height when we're dealing with kind of placing things under the spine. Okay, we'll start with our lower back a little bit. So what we're doing is we're going to have the back of our pelvis a little bit on this to bring ourselves into a tilt of the pelvis that will give our lower back a little bit of an extension. Okay, so you're bringing yourself onto the back of the pelvis, onto your blanket there, and then you're reaching your legs away. So you're going to feel definitely a stretch to the front over the skin of the front of those pointy hip bones. And we're going to let the spine kind of drop down towards the ground off that blanket there. You'll kind of see what I mean by the fact that you really don't need much height here to kind of feel sensation in the back of the spine there. So what we're kind of doing here is it's kind of giving it a little bit of a stretch. You'll feel kind of a nice stretch as you let the spine push down towards the ground, and a little bit of a lift to the front of the hip bones there. Those tissues, just those little deep tissues at the back of the lower back there, gets a little bit of a stretch there. And if you're not feeling it, if you're coming into an overarch, then maybe you need to just bring the blanket a little bit further down your hips there, and then really have an intention of pressing your hips back and down, almost like they're dropping off your blanket there as well. Arms, a little bit of space between the arms, the body, palms facing up towards the ceiling. And notice these gentle sensations this is causing. This kind of, stretch through the front and a little bit of the sensation at the back of the spine there. And also notice the curve. This kind of maybe magnifies the curve of your lower spine because you've lifted your hips up a little bit. So really kind of notice that lower curve there, the lumbar spine, lower back. Okay, we're going to keep moving. We're not going to hold these poses very long because I want to really travel up the back here. Lift the hips up and just bring your blanket up further. So where I kind of want it now is kind of just under the bra line there, halfway down your back there. So it's not quite up. We want another space for another one where it's just in underneath our shoulder blade. So maybe just underneath the lower tips of our shoulder blade there. So where you're feeling this opening here, it's like a kind of, it'll be a progressive pose where we're feeling maybe a little bit of an opening to the lower ribs there, where the ribs start to curve around to the sides of your body there. So that kind of the base of your sternum is the breath more magnified with this opening through the back body. So notice the breath here. It's like this kind of odd midpoint between, we notice the breath through the lungs and the breath through the belly, but there's this midsection where we feel the breath too. Okay, and then we're going to move to our third section. For this one, you might need to lift the upper spine up rather than the hips and just shimmy the blanket up towards your shoulder blade. So you'll know that you're in the right position. If you lengthen your left arm away from you and have two fingertips between your arm and the rolled blanket there. So it's just sitting underneath your shoulder blades there. Now for this one, it can feel nice if your shoulders will allow you, and you have to make sure that the shoulders comfortably come down to the ground and the arms aren't hovering in space. Bring the arms into cactus position and have them overhead there. And if that doesn't work for you, arms in T shape is good too. but maybe just try have the arms either in cactus or T-shape rather than down either side of the body, just to help the upper chest to open. Now, this one in particular can feel really lovely because this is the area that we kind of curl too forward in. The shoulders curl forward, the upper back curls forward, particularly with the weather getting colder and winter seasons, we curl into ourselves. So this can be a really lovely relief to take just at any time of the day when you're feeling that your posture is out of whack. Popping the blanket underneath those shoulder blades and lying back and just realigning that upper spine. And feel the breath here opening through the front of the body, front of the chest, ribs opening up. And then getting ready to come out of this pose. So if you have your arms in cactus, bring the arms down either side of the body. Press your forearms into the ground, maybe bend the knees up, and gently lift yourself up to a seated position. So for our final pose, I thought I'd bring us into a lovely restorative twist. So again, working with the spine. So let's bring our, let's see, we want to be twisting to the right. Okay, so you're going to bring your right hip up against your bolster. So pop your bolster across the mat there. We're going to go gentle on the hips. So we're going to pop blankets between the knees there. So have maybe 1 or 2 blankets between the knees there. And what that does is it kind of takes it supports that upper leg and takes a little bit of the intensity out of that top left hip there. And maybe you might want a blanket at the top of your bolster there, just to bring your head down onto. Okay, so let's start with axial extension. So coming up, lengthening through the whole spine here, fingertips on your fingertips, either side of the bolster there. Inhale to lengthen through the whole spine, and then exhale really carefully and mindfully, placing the whole front of your spine down the ridge of your bolster. And seeing for women, maybe if you could bring the bolster between the breast tissue there. Now you're going to bring your gaze to your left side there, and you're going to come onto your left or your right cheek. I'm going to stay up onto my chin there, which is an option too if you don't want to line your cheek, just so I don't interfere with the AirPods. Okay, so take some deep breaths here now. And feel the spine, the rotation of the spine there, curling along your bolster. And feel almost a sense of the breath wrapping around your spine too. So can you just even trace the breath from, the back of your left lung, curling around the front of your right lung, draping over the bolster to your right lung. And journey through this wrap with your breath. So really feel the breath circulating around the spine. Maybe letting those elbows come a little bit wider than from your bolster. If they're in a little bit too tight, it can bring your elbows up or your shoulders up around your ears. Now really letting yourself settle down into this pose. So this is your main pose of your restorative practice. It's a two-sided one. So we're going to settle here for a few minutes, then we'll go to the other side and then we'll take Shavasana. So really let yourself settle into this. Scan through your body from your toes to the tip of your crown. And just make sure that there's nowhere that needs extra support. If you find an area that's feeling, that it's hanging in space or it's just not optimally comfortable, get another blanket and wedge it around, or find comfort. The most important instruction I can give you in restorative poses is to find your comfort. And just gently getting ready now to move to your second side. So just gently lifting your head up, place the hands down into the mat either side of your bolster. Press into your hands to lift yourself up. Now there's two ways, just, find your way of most efficiently getting to the second side. So you can either come up onto your knees and bring yourself to the other side, bring in the blankets with you, or you can come onto the back of your pelvis there and flip yourself around to the other side. Okay, I'm just going to move my bolster around so I'm done with my back to you. So this time now you're going to end up with your left hip up against the bolster there. Get your blankets all secure between your knees. Make sure that you're comfortable with space, a little bit of space between the bolster and your hip there so that you have room for the pelvis to tilt forward. Hands either side of the bolster there, lengthen through the whole spine. Take a little bit of time to make sure you do that. And then exhale really slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, placing your whole front spine down over the ridge of your bolster there. And then coming on to your right cheek. So you're gazing to your right now. Or if you're on your left cheek and you're gazing to your right. Again, let's find the breath, and the breath just wrapping around the spiraled spine. So feel the breath maybe in the back of your right belly, front of your right belly, front right lung, front left lung. And feel it kind of whirling around the spine with each inhale and exhale. Remembering to leave a little bit of space between your elbows and the bolsters. If having them tight up against the bolster brings your shoulders up around your ears. And now just settling into your second side here. Really letting yourself accept the support of the props, the bolster, the blankets, your mat, the ground, the earth underneath you. Scan through your body from your toes all the way to the tip of your crown, making sure everything is settled. Particularly the areas like, your jaw, maybe even that right leg. Make sure it's really settling on top of the supported blankets in the left leg, or the shoulders softening down towards the ground. Can you soften the skin across your forehead? Soften the eye sockets. Feel the breath lifting in the back there with your inhale. Feeling the back of the lungs and then contracting and dropping down towards the bolster on your exhale. And getting ready to move now into Shavasana. So just even planning your route, your exit route, to make it as efficiently as possible. Place both hands either side of the bolster, press into them to lift yourself up. Maybe even just leaving that blanket at the top there, pushing your bolster away. Let's make a neck roll. So opening that blanket out into a fourfold and then rolling it up, just 1 or 2 rolls. Let's support the cervical spine for our Shavasana, a nice way to close a spine class off. And then pop your blankets out to the side, coming onto your back. So what you want is that roll, literally just to fill the space of the curve of your neck there, lengthen the legs out. So you're not looking for it to be high enough to lift it. It's just literally just nestling into the space between your ground and the back of your neck there. Okay, so this one, we're not going to put anything under the knees, although you can if you have issues with your lower back. We're really just going to let the spine lie onto the mat there in its natural curves. So to find your natural curves, you might find it helpful to tilt those hip bones back and forward a few times and find what feels kind of neutral in between. And now trace through your spine there and notice in this position its natural curves, what parts of your spine lifts and what parts of your spine drop down towards the mat. So whereas in cat pose or all fours, we were looking at things dropping down towards the ground. This time now our lumbar spine is lifting off the ground, our lower back, our lumbar spine. Our thoracic spine, our upper back is dropping down towards the ground. Feel the back of those shoulder blades suppressing into the mat underneath you. And then our cervical spine, our neck, the back of our neck there is lifting off the ground, but we are supporting it with our rolled blanket. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. A little bit of space between the arms and the body, and the toes dropped out to the side. And maybe just for 1 or 2 breaths, trace through your spine. So let's travel through the spine. On our inhale, we'll go up from our lower spine, our mid spine, our upper spine. On our exhale, we'll go upper spine, mid, and lower. We'll do 1 more of them. Inhale, lower, mid, upper. Exhale, upper, mid, lower. And feel the breath in the whole body, the whole spine. And gently getting ready to move out of Shavasana. Bring a little bit of movement in your fingertips and your toes. Rolling over to your right hand side. Maybe just curling up into a little ball. So finding our original position, fetal position. When you're ready, using your left arm to help lift you up and find your way into a comfortable seated position. Hands in prayer position at your heart. Maybe even keeping the eyes closed, thumbs to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center. Namaste. And thank you for practicing with me.